taking the privilege to start this session again. So I'd like to request all the delegates to take their seats. Also a student once. So I know it's very difficult for us to be in classroom or in session after lunch. So, and I know we have potential speakers also with us who can keep you busy. So with this, I'd like to welcome Mr. Manoj, Managing Director, NERAMAC, and Shri Mihin, Dollo, Director, Natural Resource, NERCRMS, NEC. So I'd like to request them to come to the stage, please. Starting the session, I'd like to request Professor Kalam to welcome our esteemed guests. Professor Kalam is a faculty of Information at IIM Shillong. He is now facilitating Mr. Manoj, Managing Director, NERAMAC. Thank you, sir. Again, I'd like to request you, sir, to felicitate. And we'll go with that. And before going into the preliminary session, it is the last session for this conference. And this session will be one of the critical aspects of food processing industry. That is critical intervention and institutional support in promoting FPIS. So our first speaker is Shri Mihin Dollo. He is the Director of Natural Resource in NERCRMS, NEC. He has more than 1 decade of experience in developing sector. So welcome you, sir, and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you. Distinguished dignitaries, Mr. Prasan. Good afternoon once again. So all the distinguished dignitaries, learned personality, and ladies and gentlemen. So myself is Mihin Dollo. Basically, I belong to Arunachal Pradesh, called Shillong, from Lower Springfield district, and I am working with NERCRMS under a sister organization of NEC. So today I haven't had any PowerPoint presentation, but I would like to highlight few of our ground level experience. What are the critical interventions required there, and another thing, what kind of institutional support is really required in the northeastern region. So based on the topic, I'll speak on these 2 lines. I have around 21 years of experience in this developmental work in different parts of the northeastern region. So if we see the critical intervention in food processing industry, what I feel is number 1 is the road network, number 2 is the power, and number 3 is the telecommunication. Why number 1 road network is, without proper road network, transportation cannot be happen. If you see in the different part of the northeastern region, what is the most hurdle part is the road network. We don't have proper road network. That's why we cannot aggregate the product together. So government Though we are also part of government, wherever I go, I emphasize road network. Until unless we don't provide proper road network, even you see in the Meghalaya, though Meghalaya is a small state, even they to aggregate the raw material, we are facing a lot of problems. In Garo Hill, we had one experience in year 2010. Lot of tea cultivators were promoting. Almost more than 400 households are there. They promoted the government, and from us also we promoted the tea cultivation. Later on we realized that to aggregate those things is not easy. And they transported down in the Assam, and it's more critical. So after that, we discussed with Meghalaya government also. With convergence activity, we established one tea processing unit in that Ganot village. They are just before the Turan. While they are sailing down to Assam, they are getting just 2 rupees per kg. They grow that green tea leaf. Then later on, when we intervene there, they are getting almost 12.5 rupees per kg. So that kind of difference is there. But still, the major challenges were the road to aggregate together from different villages. So this is why, if we really want to do good in the food processing industry, this critical part has to be addressed by the government. And second, why I am talking about the power is, we have a lot of experience. This last year also, last financial year also, we established around 97 processing units, mainly in Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. After establishing all that thing, initially the government power department, they were assured that power will be there. Later on, we realized that the power is not sufficient to run the machine, because most of the machineries for food processing industry we need 3-phase power. And to bring 3-phase power in different parts is not easy again. So later on, again, we procured extra transformer to run those industries, small. It's just started now. This year, we commissioned few units and it started running. So proper power supply will require to establish food processing industry. And third one, the third critical part is the telecommunication. If proper telecommunication is not there, the marketing is not easy. This time again, on official tour, I went to this Upper Subansiri and Kamle district. Though they have a lot of potential, they are the orange belt and the millet belt. But to aggregate, no proper road network is there. And the most of places where I travel, no electric connection is there, line is there, but in a month they hardly get 1 or 2 days. And another thing, no mobile network again. Mobile tower is there, but no network. Then how it will work? So these are the 3 critical challenges we need to address for if we really want to promote food processing industry. What I feel personally is, if we address, most important is the road, if we address this issue, other things will slowly come up. Or investment also will happen. Because of all these factors, if we try to bring investor also, they look on all these aspects first. Investor will not blindly come and put their money there. They check all these aspects, whether really it's feasible to invest in this area or not. So that kind of critical thing we have to address. Like in Manipur, some advantage is there. People are educated in center of all the district and it can be bring together. But like other parts, if you see in the Arunachal, even in Meghalaya, if we establish food processing unit here in Shillong also, we cannot bring together because of the geographical factors. If you look on the Arunachal part, geographically is one of the toughest zone. So how to address all this is, we need small food processing unit on a cluster basis. And then to make it happen, we need proper road network. One is for irrigation, other is for marketing. That is forward and backward linkages. So that it should happen well. And all of us know that most of our state in the northeast, we have potential of different kind of agriculture or horticulture crop because of the what we get agroclimatic zone. Now we have different agroclimatic zone. If you see here from Assam, if you look to high altitude of Arunachal, we have different kind of agroclimatic zone is there. Starting from tropical agroclimate zone to temperate. So that potential is there, but to take that potential, the proper planning and proper intervention is required. And another thing that if you see the institutional support, again here, though we are under one umbrella of one government, we have different kind of departments, like horticulture departments is there, agriculture departments is there, and different kind of research institutes are there. So bringing it together in one platform is not easy again. So sometimes because of variety of reasons, department we are not working together. Like suppose we take one example. Now we are trying in the Manipur Impal Valley, we are trying one model for Bigari value chain. Now we started implementing from this year only. Here, how we are trying is, we are trying to create a one package as a model. First, we are focusing on feeds. Feeds from where it will come. We are establishing one small feed process making unit. And another thing, the major critical for Bigari value chain is piglet. Piglet for Manipur, we are depending on Assam or other part of India. So breed piglet, lot of mortality is there. So to address that, again, we are trying around 7 pig breeding units on cluster basis. Mainly on Impal East, Impal West, then this Bishnupur and Tobal district. Then this, if we address these two critical factors, one is the pigs and another is the piglet, then value chain will work well. And rearing unit will be not a big issue. So we are creating rearing unit also in 32 villages. Now again we realize when we analyze the raw material availability for feed making industry, so again problem is coming up. Now again we are intervening, that we are selecting those farmers who have the sufficient land. Now we are focusing again on the backward linkages, where will the raw material source. That is, one is the maize, major component, another is the soybean. Now we try to intervene in that way. We give some kind of financial support again for maize, summer maize and soybean in summer season, and then winter maize and peas in winter season. So that the major component should be available within the system, within the cluster I mean. So that way, model have to go together. Then again, we try to bring in the line department because this to promote more maize and soybean. Again, agriculture department have to become forward. So they have to become forward, and then rest it will happen. So that kind of thing is there. Again, for later on marketing. So our sister organization, like other part of marketing, we try to look on the NERAMAC again. So that way, value chain will work well. So because of that, institutional support, number one is the research and developmental institution. They aim to bring out like what CFTRI is doing, like that what team is required here at ground level. They have to develop the required machineries, tools and equipment, and other departments like horticulture can promote the raw material, agriculture can promote the raw material, then animal husbandry can look more on the disease management part. So if we all together on that line, then the institutional support, the institutional network and the institutional convergence, or we can say institutional linkages, it is all together. Like in ecology we say food webs, no? It's all like a food webs, then definitely the team will happen. Otherwise, one department work on their own line, other department work on their own line, it will not happen. So, practically, as per my experience in these 21 years, we are facing on that line. Some department is good, their own work, they are not trying to connect what is happening. Because of that, if you see in the notice, a lot of food processing industry, small scale food processing industry were established, but most of them are not functioning well. So we have to realize how this institutional network is important. The Ministry of Donor, they try to bring together research institution with a developmental institution through Steiner, all of whom I had the science and technological intervention of Northeastern region. They bring very good policy. But if you see, even then, policy is there. But to implement, again, it's not easy. So personally, I traveled most of the research institute, particularly in IIT, across the India. Personally, I traveled and I discussed with them what kind of technology you can give to notice. And they asked us to write some kind of concept, what technology is there. So unfortunately, I missed CFTRI. I visit most of even the Central Rural Development Research Institute. Starting from there, south to north, I visited. So we wrote to them and they give us some technology also. But it's not up to the expectation of what the community wants. So this kind of thing is happening. So if we bring together this institutional network in proper way, through this, if they can strengthen this Steiner, the science and technological intervention of Northeast India with more kind of workshop and whatever maybe more kind of field visit, then definitely what I feel is it will work well. So if we do like that, then what is required? Finally is the entrepreneur who really want to do work at the ground level. Like most of the people who came here as experience hearing, they are giving very good example. Like a lot of people are there. But because of variety of factors, again, the benefit for the schemes which was populated down to those entrepreneurs, it is not actually going down there. So, again, we have to address it properly. Like startup is there. Startup is there, but in Northeastern region, we have to understand whether really the benefit, different kind of schemes are there. Then those schemes are really benefiting the people who really wanted to do. So this is a big question. So if really all these schemes and programs, what government is doing, it is really populated down in a proper way to really a targeted beneficiary, then it will be more easier. Sometimes for us also, when we try to intervene in some kind of area, so the government, what they want is they want to benefit as much as possible. So because of that, we try to give some benefit to here, some benefit to there. Because of that, this thing is not happening properly. Suppose we take example of Tigari. Tigari, long back notice was declared as a Tigari cluster. Entire notice was declared as Tigari cluster. Because of that, lot of things is happening. And government also from donor ministry, lot of money is given to us. We also try in different kind of model, but they emphasize more beneficiary. To give more beneficiary, we have to minimize the unit size, like 3 bed capacity, 6 bed capacity, maximum to maximum 15 bed capacity. So if we are giving that much of thing only, so it's not happening properly. We also realize now government is reworking on that line. So from this year over, we are also reworking on that line. At least suppose one beneficiary, if really he wanted to do Tigari, the person should get at least 30 bed capacity of the building, everything, building, 1 year's field support and all other working capital. No? This is there. And again, I'll come back to 97 unit. 97 unit, we established some of this unit food processing unit that started running. But what problem we are facing is that Copas money again. We give one FPO, we constituted 50 FPO, which may be hand over to NERAMAC for further handholding. So we give 5 lakhs only. Later on, we realize that 5 lakhs is nothing for them, particularly to aggregate the raw material. So that problem is coming up here. But we try to encourage farmers to contribute something from there. But most of the farmers, where we are intervening, they don't have resources to contribute again. So this year, again, for that region, we are formulating some small projects so that we can focus more on the raw material. Now machinery is there, raw material is there. Later the market will link up. That forward linkages will be done later. No? That way we are trying. So what I feel is number one, wherever we go, we should emphasize government for the road network. Number two, again, power. Over electricity should be there. We over voltage. Some of the area power is there, voltage is very low, that this machine is not run. And the third is, one is the telecommunication. So these three things, if we address, that thing will happen. And another thing I'll again emphasize is convergence of the agencies, different kind of agencies. One is the R&D institute, second is the line department, third is the developmental worker, and fourth is the entrepreneur. If this network can be great, then definitely the team will avail in the notice. So I will conclude here. Thank you once again. Thank you for all the guidance.
You have highlighted one of the key points, that is the policy intervention. And if I'm not wrong, then India is a country which has largest number of policies. Right from the independence, 1952 Community Development Program, the National Extension Program, Price and Duerka, IRDP, then we have Ganga Millennium Course, then SGSY, then the NERCRMS, now it's again it's known as the NERCRMS. But the main thing is that we need to ask the question why we are not developed in spite of having lots of policies. And that should be our question for me also. And thank you for this highlighting this important issue related to the policy. And being a member of Dr. Abdul Kalam Center for Policy Research and Analysis, I personally always like to welcome these policy issues because our center's main role is to analyze the policies of different government, like state government and union government. So, thank you once again. Now, I'd like to invite Mr. Manoj. Mr. Manoj is the Managing Director of NERAMAC and co-currently Head of Northeastern Development Finance Corporation Limited. He was the former Director of Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, Guwahati, and member of High-Level Committee of Implementation of New Education Policy in Assam. He holds Bachelor degree from Saurashtra University, followed by his first class MBA degree from Punjab University, and presently he is also pursuing his PhD from University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya. He was the first entrepreneur selected under the Operation Udyog scheme of Government of Assam in 1986 to set up medium sector enterprise. Being a social entrepreneur, he is also associated with various organizations, including the Assam Conservation Trust, Zibal Initiative, Asami NGO. So, welcome you, sir, and over to you, sir.
it's a really difficult, challenging task to conduct a session of post-class, but my task is made easier by my previous speakers. I am the last speaker, so most of the things that I wanted to cover have been covered already. Nonetheless, our topic is critical interventions and institutional support in promoting FPIS. So first I will go to institutional support. I made some small notice here. This is about NERAMAC. So this Northeastern Regional Agricultural Marketing Group is a very old organization. It was headed by very high-level civil servants who later on going to become Chief Secretaries of States and Secretaries of Government of India. And my serial number is 27. And many times, Government of India talks about closing it down. So I am holding church since 1st April 2020, and I have been sent as I am holding church, and we are preparing the revival package for NERAMAC, and so is IIM Shillong. So IIM Shillong and NERAMAC next week we are giving the task to prepare a roadmap for revival of NERAMAC. Then they said, okay, you have prepared the thing and go and revive it. So that is where I am. And now I would like to give you a good news. Many of us have heard about it. The revival package has been approved by the cabinet about 1 month back. So we hope that we can revive NERAMAC back, and it is role is very, very crucial and critical because Northeast is predominantly agri-horticultural, and unless we give marketing details to this landlocked region, our farmers will not have return on their produce. And just to give a small brief, NERAMAC started as a processing company which pineapple concentrate plant in Nalkata, Tripura. It was the most modern plant of that time, and it did very well. But with time, the plant closed down, and another plant we had was ginger processing plant in Banihat. It was the technology was supplied by Dr. Shri by CSIR, and it has 4-5 products: ginger oil, then ginger powder, ginger paste, then waxed ginger. Then of course you do sorting, grading, and you do washing the things. Enhance the shelf life about 6 months. Although it is now closed down, but many of you can come and have a look to see how the ginger plant should work. And try to revive it to PPP mode. When Nalkara plant we are trying to revive. Then we have one plant in manufacture for cashew nut processing. And it has about 6 acres of land, which is about 90,000 square feet of land, then 30,000 square feet of built-up area, and some machinery which are not used. But if anybody wants to set up something there, they can come forward. There will be a EOI every shop on that also. And in Tripura, we have another built-up area where our office is located in the heart of the city, about 10,000 square feet of built-up area. So that can be converted to a training center. Any partner would like to come over and get advantage of that. So that is what NERAMAC is, and our current package given is about 77.45 crore. And we are also building a modern office space, marketing complex in Guwahati of 77,000 square feet, managed by Northeastern Policy. LEC is very supportive, and so our sister organizations like NERCRMS and universities, the program is very supportive. So that's what NERAMAC. Currently we are a negative network company, and we plan to make it positive by year end. And what we do, like we harvest developing farmers, post-harvest farmers and explore possible markets for our products. We have recently exported maize to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has a requirement of 2.3 million tons of maize. We just exported as a test case about 2 trucks, 50 tons. And currently I have employed for about 2,000 metric tons in next 6 months. If I can procure that, then we do a lot of information sharing regarding possible market price, supply chain, etc. They coming and we have a working groups and we can work. Then we also do a lot of negotiation. We have office in Adadpur Mandi, then Kanpur we are trying to set up, and Siliguri Mandi. Then local markets we have then we collect products and we do marketing. Last year we had a turnover about 38 crores. Then of course transportation and other benefits to farmers. We don't run any scheme. Now food processing industries, what's the need of food processing industries? Because we can do many. We are predominantly tea-making country. I mean, Assam produces about 565 million kgs of tea. Then other products are there, bamboo and all that. But food processing is a very risky business. Dollo from Espoli there, and wherever you go to any market place, we look at brands, Kisan or so non-branded food processing is very difficult to sell. And as individuals, we should see how many products we rely on in the market. So to establish a food processing industry, it is very difficult at a smaller level unless you can brand and market and get a quality. But nonetheless, since there is huge wastage of our crops, produces, commodities, we have to go for food processing industry so that the farmer gets money for the produce. So discover like new markets in the economy, markets are something wrong with my computer. Then basically we have to create entrepreneurial activities. The previous speaker said about the agent that will be creating the industries. He is an entrepreneur, one who can take calculated risk and one who has a real achievement motivation. I was director of IIM, so there 3.5 years experience I found that you cannot really create entrepreneurs just giving subsidy or giving some EDP training unless he has that drive from inside to do something different. And he has to be innovative, try to make best out of the situation and try to find the best solution to the problem. Unless he is a problem solver, resource mobilizer, and he has to ultimately become credit-worthy so that the banks and other financial advice support. So this entrepreneurial society we have to build, and traditionally we have been all, I'm not talking about very far back on time, but for us I think 6 decades we have been job seekers. We are studying just to get a good job somewhere. Government job, that too pensionable. But let me tell you, from 2002, with new pension policy, now there is no assured pension till your death. So we have to become an entrepreneurial society and change the mindset. We have to change the mindset. That is first and foremost. I think slowly it is happening. I see some change with new generation. And with the COVID time, many of our youth, they came back and now they are, firstly they are realizing the value of society, value of their land and value of being at home. we all know many master faced, like in big cities, if you cannot pay the rent for maybe 2 months, it will be kicked off. There will be no support from anywhere, and you will be left alone. But here you have the society, family, our big resource, land we have. And land is the giver. And that is what I see many I find they have taken up farming, and they have brought in newer technologies like multi-level farming, then multi-cropping, and they are also there is a huge jump in startup ecosystem. Assam has, in India have in Assam Agriculture University, there is huge number of applicants, and they are supporting. Also, Nectar is supporting in a big way. They give seed capital, and I think in the month of April there was a competition here, and many of my mentees got selected. So this is what one entrepreneur does. Then some of the institutional supports, interventions that different government agencies are doing. This is the Mission Organic Value Chain Development from Association. There are 4 components. This input, then growing, and brand building and marketing and all that. But component number 2B is processing. So in processing, NERCRMS is the implementing agency, and I am heading it currently. And we have supported many industries in the Northern region. And here I will tell you about these policies. For FPOs, they have to bring in only 10% of the contribution. Rest is grant, and it is upfront. And for private entrepreneurs, it is 50%. That again is upfront. And in the scheme, entrepreneurs have to bring in 10% of the total, it's called TFO, total financial outlay. So by bringing 10%, you can raise a factory of 100%. And it is upfront. The product is but very interesting and funny things happen. Recently, I visited one unit in Manipur. And what they did, they built a big house for themselves. And that they are showing as one of the storehouse. Partly they are showing as store. Then the dining hall they are showing as making area. And the factory that they are building is very shady. So I request the entrepreneurs to be very, very sincere, because we people are very experienced. We know what is going to happen, what they are trying to do. And that kind of projects do not get sanctioned in the long run. So another scheme basically is we support the organic crop production and processing, and from our nutrition agency. Manipur, Nagaland, they have been Mizoram is supported. Assam record is not very good. Then Mizoram, Meghalaya is supported the first organic tea factory, Asta Tea. It's a brand here. And so this second phase will start. First phase had a total outlay of 261 crores. So next phase will start very soon. And I think you all can look into it, organic, in the organic sphere. And up to C1 certification, state governments is their duty. But processing will, marketing also will help. And there is a lot of money lying with us. And this PMFME scheme, I think I have already spoken already. So in Guwahati, we have Indians of Food Processing Technology. They are playing a pivotal role in capacity building. And I am actually trying to convert my those technology to PMFME centers where we can train entrepreneurs. It is 100% grant for me. If we do, NERAMAC can be 100% grant, and that is right. And you can all contact PMF, IIPT for the benefits. And there is also another scheme, one district, one product. One district, one product, I think it is like the goods of Israel, government of India wants to develop. Earlier, there were similar schemes like one village, one product of Japan, then one company, one product, Thailand, then China is called TPE, Town and Village Enterprises. In Taiwan is called one town, one product. This is a highly organized country. So Korea also has something. They have developed through this system. And in Europe, I think in the 18th or 19th century, they developed their villages through GI, geographical indication, and it has come to India now only. My predecessor, Mr. Bhattacharyya, he was telling me that we have about 13 GIs. Yes, NERAMAC is having 13 GIs, and our target is to bring it to 20 by August next year under Abdul Mahotsav. So from GI we can actually do a lot of product development and say good direct, he has developed industry, then room freshness from other products. So many products we have developed. And later I was given another about 2 certificates by GI industry. There is a joint secretary from GP, IIT. And now he is telling us to give the benefit back to the society, community. So we can take help of these ODOP. Every district has been given some product, one major product and minor product. For example, in my district, Assam, Lukhimpur, my home district, is I think smoke pork. Smoke pork is the product. So they must have done some survey. Please go through, I mean, all these are available in the website, you can go through. And you know, develop. So this one is one product. Then Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. I think we have been speaking about it since yesterday. But again, just to recap, mega food parks, integrated cold chain and value-added infrastructure. Then I hope you know what is the difference between cold chain and cold storage. And if you want to have a look, there is one near Guwahati, Sonapur, Brahmaputra cold chain. You can go and have a look. Then creation and expansion of food processing, development capacity, their infrastructure for everything, transfers, backward, creation of backward and forward intelligence, food safety, validation, HRD, then operation greens. I think there is one top scheme of Sunday. Tomato, onion and potato. And this production incentive scheme for food processing industry. We have all said that. They are out of 10,900 crores. Then this Scooty scheme, scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industry, which was started by government of India, but now quite a few Scooty clusters were developed during my time from IIM. And now government of India has another scheme called Bandhan Yojana, that is integrated tri-fed, and all tri-fed Bandhan Yojana Kendras will be now converted to Scooty. So if there is some Bandhan Yojana, Kendra nearby will get converted to Scooty. And Scooty is a very good scheme, and only 10% has to be brought in by the producer company. And these are all on the mode of producer companies. Then NABARD has been the Rural Small Business Development Center is in Guwahati. You can all go and have it. So we can, first you please go to the website, lot of information is there, and then you will know what to ask. Then NSIC, that's also in Bamuni Maidan, Guwahati. They do a lot of training and all that. High purchase machineries can be bought on installment, I think, from them. And they also have raw material storage scheme. Then a lot of other technological input one can get from there. Technology transfer. There is National Research Development Center, NRDC transfers technology of CSI labs, purposing technology contribution. Then CB, it's basically refinance institution. Then was May with an NGO that so they also implement 3 schemes. So this is my institutional component of my topic. But now I will talk about the other critical intervention that is required for development of, because mere schemes or some funding doesn't develop an industry. And our strength lies in having a very good agroclimatic condition. When you talk about pineapple, many people say pineapple season is only 4 months. But if you map it, actually we have done 4 very critical studies for Government of Prime Minister's Office during COVID time. One on bamboo sector, one agri sector, organic, then spices. And during that we found, if you map it, suppose the availability of pineapple in Assam, okay, when does next one starts? We find it starts in Arunachal, then it starts somewhere in Tripura. So we have 9.5 months season in Northeast because of our, dry climatic condition, the heights different, then temperatures are different in different regions. So if you map all of them, then it's a quite different pattern. So for that, I think number one requirement is it's okay, all these infrastructure, mega food park, all these are being developed. Then Government of Assam has declared 1 kilometer along the national highway as food park. Anybody can go and set it up there. So that's not a big issue. But big issue is, suppose I want to set up something tomorrow, is that data reliable? So number one critical intervention we require is actually the ability of reliable data. And for that, we are working at NERCRMS and NERAMAC. We have proposed to Northeastern Council to develop one online dynamic database. So we will go to the farmer level, then from there we will upload all about his resources, his land resource, and what he produces, in what season, what crop will come out, what commodity he is going to produce. Then we will, aggregate it, and it will come on a dashboard. On the dashboard, you see where Assam can see. You set it up there, and what is the distance at which these raw materials are available. So it's a 5-year project that we are taking up. Then another project we are taking up is SAGET, that is Strategic Resource Center for Employment, Education and Entrepreneurship. So this SAGET project we are doing is an online project, 5.4 crore supported by Prime Minister's Office and will be implemented by NERCRMS. And in the that portal, NERAMAC will be collecting the data and it will be uploading. It will be uploaded from NERCRMS. It's a joint work we are going to do. So this data part we have to be very, right now it is very difficult. If I am to set up something, I cannot really depend on government data. Some states data is up to only 2018, some states up to 19. It's not complete. So that's one intervention that we will do. Then financial, technological intervention is a must. So from NERAMAC side, I am trying to develop, though it's not our mandate. Okay, you can say we can assume the mandate. So I am trying to develop some small machines which can be kept at every household, like a solar dryer, which nano material. So that the nano material will be blocking the pathogens from going in. And we have developed, identified few scientists who worked outside, who were in vacations of technology. One was in Uppsala University, Sweden, and they worked on this. So a lot of nano material. Then solar grain dryer we are trying to develop. So this year from Assam alone, I think FCA is planning to procure 10 million tons of paddy. So far, they were not procuring, saying that its humidity is very high, moisture level is very high. There are a lot of actually, fallacies that has been thrown into our minds. Like they say, for last so many years, Assam or Northeast do not have a cricketer in Indian team. So they say because it's muddy, raining, so we cannot build the pitches. But Bangladesh is of similar condition and they have beaten India in cricket. That is one fallacy. Number two, they said paddy cannot be procured from Assam because of high moisture content. But Thailand is of similar climatic condition and they are #1 exporter of rice in the world. And they in fact do contract farming in Cambodia. So we have to find out technical solutions to bring down maybe moisture level to 14% level. So that grinder I am developing, then smoker, electric smoker. We have actually copied one Chinese machine. They are not the only one who can copy, we also copy them. And original was costing about 8.5 lakh and we have done it at 80,000 rupees. So we are going to file patents and anybody wants like for your fish smoking. So this then policy interventions. Right kind of policies we must have. Policy, legislations. I am very happy that you are developing. But then there should be a policy to preserve our heritage. The one gene pool that our great grandfathers passed on to us seeds. Unless you grow it every year, or maybe I think in 2-3 years we lose our seeds. Of course, they are kept somewhere in some germplasm form somewhere. But then it should be in living form. For your information, I am from Dhanati district. There are about 550 varieties of rice cultivated. There is a special variety of rice that is used for making the dew to give to the son-in-law when he visits their house for the first time. It's not a Devi community. Juai, Suje, Dia, Saul. Suje. Then we have a variety of heritage wines, and those should get commercialized. And there should be a policy, so that people can produce and market. Now they are little silent about that. Some government, like 5 years back, they say, I am a government servant, but speaking like an activist, so please excuse that. Firstly, I think I am a citizen, concerned citizen. So our this biodiversity should be maintained. Like in Goa, we love local chicken. We don't like broiler. But when you go to buy local chicken, it's okay. जिसका जो टांग पीला है ना वो लोकल है, काला वाला broiler है, something like that. So all these things, maybe after one generation they will forget what was the local chicken originally. Just an example, rice, it's happening everywhere. In major commodities, piggery is happening, then dairy is happening. Then we have, for example, Asiatic swine buffalo. It's about 6.35-7 lakh population in Assam, and it's actually zero input industry. Like we have this, we call it Mohor Gual, I don't know how you call it, buffalo herdman. And if he has about 100 buffaloes, his net worth is about 50 lakhs. One buffalo costs about 50,000. But that fellow is wearing a dhoti, torn dhoti, no ganji, only one lathi. With 50 lakh net worth, he is worthless. So that kind of, we have to bring in kind of interventions so that he gets his value. Land we have, you have seen so much of land we have in Manipur, truly speak them. You go there and what they do on the top, I won't say publicly, So this used to, take out, maximize its production out of it. Vasundhara, we have to, it's a mother giver, no? And we have to protect the environment. So, I think we are doing well since the last 6 years of independence. Now we are talking about processing industry, and very big industries come up. Near Choigaon, we have the largest, longest biscuit factory in India or in the world, I don't know, by Britannia. Then there are Momodo, there is SRD group, you should go and see what they are doing. They have own brands now. Like what do you call it?
Repose.
No. Yeah, but then they have one, they have a brand which we drink regularly for dehydration. ORS is owned by them. And amazing, you see their factory. So we have that capacity, and I tell you, we have one of the best manpower in the country. Oil India is run by Assamese local people, very successfully. It would net profit will be more than 40,000-50,000 crore all 3-4 together. Only thing, it is not coming down to the people, the central sector, then Coal India is there, then Tesco University, all local, and IIT Guwahati is top level, it's all run by local people mostly. And started as under Assam board, IIT Guwahati. So they have social responsibility if there is any idea here. So they have to give technologies, give techniques, not technology actually. We develop technology, but give people technique. इसे करना है, इसको यहाँ मिलाना है, ऐसे काटना है. So technological intervention, policy, financial intervention, a lot of financial intervention is happening now. It's available. Money is not a problem now. Anybody wants to set up anything, they can come to us. We have NERCRMS, we have schemes. We give about 500 crores every year. Then we have one Northeast Venture Capital Fund, 100 crore fund, jointly promoted by donor, then CP and NERCRMS, 100 crore. Already we have given about 32 crores to different startups. So financial intervention is there, and these are actually critical interventions. Critical, but then what Mr. Dollo told was basic infrastructure. Routine kapra makan type for industry, bijli, pani, manpower, etc. Uske bagar we cannot develop. Then also another thing is industry is treated as the enemy number one in the country. I think more than 75 laws are imposed on them. They are the most tortured people. I was an entrepreneur. Actually I did engineering, production engineering from Gujarat in '83. Then I did MBA in production management in Punjab University. Then I was plant engineer in Hero Honda. So that time I came to start an industry in Assam in '86. After 3 years torture, I left it. So it's not easy to become an industrialist. Food processing industry is already there. FSSI and all that. So any law, every law will be in jail. So, but then I think another intervention is mindset changing. We try to do something. Then ultimately we have to. Okay, another thing I forgot to tell you. That is, we are quite late. India is quite late in some cases. We have had quite early in, I think, public sector undertakings, formation of PSUs, and they were doing very good at one point time. But for farmers' welfare, we are late, but then nonetheless, better late than never. Government of India has launched a scheme called formation of 10,000 FPOs. And we are one of the implementing agencies for notice. So last year we promoted 55. This year my target is about 100. So out of 10,000 we want to promote 1,000 FPOs in notice. And it's a very good scheme. and government gives up to 25 lakhs for formation and maintenance for 5 years. Then loan guarantee of 2 crore, then equity grant. If you bring in 1 rupee, they will give you 1 rupee. So that can be used. And there will be CEOs, board of directors, then CEO, then organized market. And if anybody of you have the time or resources, please visit. There is a FPO called Sehari Farms in Nasik. It's the largest FPO in the country. They have 10,000 farmers, 623 members, and 350 crore turnover. You should see that how FPO movement is. So there will be, I think, success. And if we continue, then there are successes all around in some form or other. I tell you, we all say cooperative movement failed, but I think in some sectors, like I am a beneficiary of that. I was a member of a cooperative group housing society in Delhi. So I paid 23 lakhs to have my flat. It costs about now 2 crores. So that much of network enhancement happened. And in Assam also there are a lot of schemes like that, government schemes, but we can success. And so I think when this FPO will become successful, if we have right kind of people, and it will really double the income of the farmers. But still my paradox is double the farmers' income. I mean what? Suppose I have 10 rupees today. If it becomes 10, 20 rupees after 5 years. And if with 10 rupees I can buy 1 egg, shall I be able to buy 1 egg after 5 years with 20 rupees or half a egg? So that we have to ask. Thank you. Any questions? You may like.
Thank you, sir. But now I am in trouble to paraphrase everything because sir has given lots of information. Taking from entrepreneurship, discussing about his NERAMAC, then and lots of self-reflecting question. Like, if I'm not wrong, that the question may be, should we forget our parents when we had a son or daughter? It's not, because we are, my son or myself is here only because of my parents. And if I'm not wrong, he's talking about these heritage things when he was discussing different type of boiler chicken and this thing. And also, I'm thankful to him for sharing all the opportunities which can be availed by young entrepreneurs. So we have 5 minutes to take some question if anybody have. For both the speaker, if you have any question, please. If no, then I'd like to conclude here. One of the book that's called The Creating Nonviolence after 9/11 by Douglas Allen. He raised a question: what should be the contribution of premier institution for the society? And sir has also raised a question for social responsibility. Thank you, sir. And now we'll go for 15-minute break. At 4 p.m. we'll meet here again. Thank you.
We are now in the last session of the last day of this 2 days summit on food processing opportunities held by IIM Shillong, Center of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Center for Policy Research and Advices. For this wonderful occasion, I would like to have the kind presence of our Honorable Director, Professor D.P. Goyal sir, and our esteemed member of Board of Governors, Shri Abdul to kindly have us with us on the dais.
आपको बुलाया ना पूरा
The associate director sir has already warned me that not to drag more. So
just talked of that word.
yeah. So I promise that I will not give you more gyan and more things, stuff on the right. Rather than that, I would like to have more on reflection of the 2 days of deliberation. So we would probably, if I'm not wrong, we would like you to listen to your concerns about what we have been discussing since yesterday, the learnings from this deliberation, any takeaways, or any other further concerns that we can carry forward to make this kind of activities, movement stronger. So with that, I will request Abdul to kindly initiate this kind of interaction.
Okay, first and foremost, there is no formal presentation or there is no formal talk. So I would request all those sitting in the back, please come and occupy their seats in the front. Please.
Because now there is no VIP.
Yeah. No, not only
you are all VIPs.
Not
so
only.
Please
Please come to the front rows.
Yes.
Don't just jump 1 or 2 rows. Jump the entire queue and come to the front.
I can see. So
Yes. I think what Dr. Sanjeev said is what I would also echo. See, basically, I don't know, some of the senior people here probably may not agree to what I am saying. But I think it is very good to see that there is, kind of focused attention, not just from the Government of India, but also from different relevant departments. And institution like IIM Shillong is actually, if I may say so, we try to drive this entire initiative, making the institution kind of a nucleus, and around which we want to build this entire ecosystem. We are not, sorry, some of you are also representing other institutions or universities, so I'm not belittling what you do, but we are a B school. So obviously, as a B school, we look at things in a different standpoint. We are possibly less academically oriented, more entrepreneurial in nature, and in our thought process also. So therefore, we try to look at what are those pain points, what are the areas where intervention can be made, what are those areas where capacity building is required and needed, and how can we create or facilitate that entire process. Dr. Kalam Center, as a director mentioned in his opening remarks, is set up exclusively for this. So our job is not to just conduct such seminars or summits or conferences or symposia, but our job is to actually interact with you, understand from you where the intervention is needed, and create a roadmap for actually doing that intervention. And then we are, as I said, we are building that entire ecosystem. So we have incubation center, we have SEDNER, we have Dr. Kalam Center, and then we also have academicians who are there in IIM building the human resource for that level, I mean C level as we call. So our idea is to basically take it forward. So this is just a beginning. And as the Honorable Minister said in his speech, as well as while leaving, finally he said, after 6 months, Abdul, remember we discussed. I've said that after 6 months we want to take a review of what we discussed. And not just what we discussed, but what we heard from the people. And if you can create an agenda out of that, after 6 months, let's see where we have reached. So in that process, as Dr. Sanjeev said, we would like to hear from you, your reflections, suggestions that you would have in terms of like creating a separate cell or a resource person in Dr. Kalam Center to whom you can possibly share your problems, concerns, and we can then take you to the concerned or relevant expert. Because we are not expert on all these things. We are expert on business aspects of it. But whatever technical challenges that you are facing, we can possibly guide you or take you to the relevant expert. So please, if you have some specific suggestions on what you expect from here on, from the center, from the institute, that will be good. And that is why Director Sir is here, so that we can have that framework in place, and we make sure that it does not become just another conference for you to attend. So please, anybody who wants to make any suggestion, good. The resource person that you would like to comment upon, or a concept that we floated through this summit, even on that, if you have anything to say, please. No, sir.
Hello, Hare Krishna. My name is Abdul. I'm from Imphal, Manipur. And basically, I have an NGO who is serving surrendered underground groups, youths, misguided surrendered underground groups. At the same time, I was doing this Go Seva Ashram for last almost 15 years. But there is kind of in the mood of serving mother cows. But after this pandemic, before pandemic, I had one camp, behavioral center camp for surrender gatherers. After the pandemic camp, it became very difficult. Same time, I cannot do much business on milk because we cannot go out. So here's my daughter. My daughter made one solution, and we started producing yogurt in the day. First time in the history of Manipur, we have best yogurt in Manipur, but very little quantity. After having this, joining this, after this conference summit, I got a lot of idea and thoughts about to help out those surrender youths. So thank you very much. We got numbers of ideas coming from different speakers. It's all useful. This is wonderful, unique summit. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me the opportunity. And my name is Priya, and I came from Imphal. So this is the first time I came to this institute. And first of all, we are also youth. And I'm quite interested to be in this industry, the food industry, though I have a background from tourism industry. And most probably since 2020, I got placed in a corporate company. But what happened is, from the industry itself, we have to drop the job due to the pandemic. And when I came back to Imphal, I thought of set up all my entrepreneur, and I came up with the idea that most of the resource persons and all the entrepreneurs have already said that we have a lot of resources, but then it wasn't utilized well. So coming to that point, I thought of utilizing it and market it well in our country and outside India. So I'm very new to this industry, though I'm interested in herbal and infused and herbal blend tea. So I don't know where to go because I need an incubation, first of all. So I could get help from all the ministry, and also I would like to know the policies where I can put my opportunity for further business success, to make the business success. Thank you.
Expecting immediate answers. Otherwise, the answer is also very simple. Get in touch with Sanjeev. We will make sure that things go forward. Okay.
My name is Jivan, and I'm here on behalf of my team, Zizira. We are a herbs and spices company based in Shillong, And actually, I don't exactly have a question, but I would like to share and commend the efforts of IIM and the Ministry of Food Processing because of this summit. Our team has made a lot of connections, and it has been really, really helpful for us because there are some areas and some fields where we don't have the expertise because all of us are fresher in our team, and because of this, like now we know where to go and what to do. So with that, like I would also like to share that one thing I felt was there was lesser audience. I wish like more people were aware or invited to this event because the more the awareness is spread, and we were talking about the amount of revenue, the amount of resources available. I think if we can provide more awareness to the youth out there that all this is available, because this was something new to us as well as the team. Although yes, we have been in business for 6 years, like that exposure that we decided to take on recently has really helped us. And by being here, that I would like to thank you and to say that we are very grateful for the efforts that you're putting in. Thank you very much.
Firstly, I would like to thank IIM Shillong for giving us this opportunity to interact with all the dignitaries and giving us this chance to interact and increase the connections, make more connections. And being students, we are like very much delighted and enlightened with all the professionals. After interacting with all the professionals, after this like 1.5 years of lockdown, this was really a golden opportunity. And thank you so much.
Thank you again, sir, for giving us this opportunity. It was amazing interacting with all the people. But over here in the last 2 days, something that I could realize that there are many questions, but a lot of people, they were not having direct answers. When we are working in industry, we want specific answer to a specific problem. I think Jessica had faced some issues. Yesterday we tried to solve. But there are a lot of other people who have specific questions, and every specific question has a specific answer. That's what we call troubleshooting. So we can't solve all the problems right at this forum, maybe in 2 days. But yes, we are always open in Shillong Foundation. Any question related to food, related to operations, related to market connect, wherever you find a problem, let us know. We'll try to solve it out to whatever extent we can. At least we have a team of experts with us. We are being the first food safety and nutrition company in the country with a huge amount of experience from the corporate. I think we can do some justification to you wherever you have come from, whatever questions you have related to machinery, related to technology, related to product development or marketplace plans. Do let us know. Thank you very much.
Madhumita Barua, I represent Assam Agriculture University. Of course, I would like to thank IIM Shillong, Dr. Sanjeev, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share what we are doing in Assam Agriculture University. I know you have taken a lot of pain, a lot of work has gone behind the scene in arranging this that after a long period of lockdown, and we understand the difficulties you might have had. And I know people are working, they're walking around the clock. I just had a suggestion that in future when you're organizing this kind of thing, would it be good if you could have the incubation center, like she just mentioned about where you can go for incubation. I have an idea, but I don't have it. So you have the NEET Hub. So maybe we can invite the incubator centers also, and we can also invite other entrepreneurial people or those who have already set up industry to give a chaos, to have set up small stalls, so that students and entrepreneurs, they know and they meet and they see for themselves what's happening. And if you could ask those people also to bring a brochure or a flyer, like NEET Hub can bring down. And for example, she would have had an opportunity to, talk to them directly and, understand how thing goes. Similarly, we also have some food parks. We have in Albari, we have the food park. So can we invite people from them also? They are also to represent and to set up a stall here so that, entrepreneurs also have a scope to interact and see what facilities are there so that they can develop their ideas. Thank you very much.
This is not in response to what every stakeholder, in fact, we got a list of all the beneficiaries and the stakeholders that are in the entire industry from various corners, whether it is ministry or chamber of commerce, etc. And I believe everyone was invited, but I think we are still having that reservation as to whether we can travel or not. Plus, if you have not taken the, if you are not fully vaccinated, then Meghalaya still wants you to get quarantined, etc. So some of the people actually did not attend or they did not travel because of some restrictions there. But your suggestion is absolutely valid. And the other thing that you mentioned or the friend mentioned, we have incubation center here. So you are most welcome, those who are interested, most welcome to submit your application and whatever the process that they follow at IIM Shillong Incubation Center. Through that we can definitely look at such incubatees. So we are definitely there. So that's why I said, we have created an entire ecosystem. Now we have to use that ecosystem, and this is an institution under Government of India, institution of national importance. So this is as much as your institute as anybody else's, because there is nobody called Government of India here. I mean, in my opinion, Sarkar is an abstract animal. You and me both are Sarkar. So it is our duty to use that Sarkari machinery. So we have created that ecosystem. Let's use that.
Yeah, I fully agree, and all the reflections and all the feedback you have given. This is very important inputs for us. And as Abdul has rightly said, that we are there to support. In fact, we genuinely want that to make a difference. And this is how that, because it is just not an academic seminar or conference that where people come and then speak and then after that we forget. Rather, we want to have a continuous, regularly touch with all of you, so that let us now learn, as Mantri was also saying, that we will again meet after 6 months. So that let us review and let us monitor that what was the expectations at that time, and then after these 6 months, whether we are able to make a difference, whether we are able to meet some of the more expectations. And I think that this is the real outcome, because these days we are talking about just on the output rather than outcome based approach. Output is that one conference, it is done, and then it's another story. But when we say outcome, then we need to monitor and we need to see that what is the ultimate objective, whether we are able to achieve that objective or not. So ultimate objective was not to just hold a conference or a summit, rather really that how we can really contribute in this ecosystem. And this is really that when we really looking at to make a difference. And that is a real, as you know that so many colleagues are there, other entrepreneurs are there, and then they want to also help, like we have just, he also mentioned about that anybody can come to him. Similarly, I think that this is the networking which is really important, because when we say it's an open system, so it's a network system. So that is really, that is how we are talking about the benefits from such conferences. Because we are just not giving only the one platform, rather we are there even after that, and you please stay in touch. So that would be real, only then we would be saying that yes, this conference, this summit has been a success. And it all depends on you, that whether you really want to make this summit a success or not. So it's not IIM only, rather with your support, we can claim that yes, this summit has been a success. Thank you very much.
So I have attended many summits also. So this is a unique, because yesterday I saw that the minister was still there on the function. So I was surprised to see that, because many times this type of workshop So minister will go away after 5 minutes talk, and only you and me will be discussing here. And finally, whenever this problem goes to the concerned person, he doesn't know anything because he was not here. So then the same thing happened. So, but yesterday they stay here and in lot of interaction with us and these things. So I also today I have given my talk here. I have given all this my possibility from CFTRI. So I have shown whatever you want this particular product you have. I have given a list here. We have 400 technologies here. If it is there in that list, you are lucky there because you straight away come to CFTRI and we can transfer the technology, even the training. And till you come up, we are in with you. Any in between, any technical problem, you tell say, we have taken your technology, I don't get the product quality. So what is this? You can claim to us, and we CFTRI immediately will help you to come up there. Or any inquiry you want to do regarding food processing, we have SME corner in our website. SME corner is there. Just give your question there, and your question may be in the spices. Your question may be in the food service level. So we have an expert committee there in that. So whatever query comes, we receive that one and we given the proper the answer and given that. So this is the what we have done. And another one regarding that, you want to have a particular product. It is not in the list, but it is very something very potential to do something. So you can ask to CFTRI, sir, I want this product. So then you develop for me. So then in that case, we can work in a project mode. For example, I tell you yesterday, I told you honey cubes. Honey is the major exporting from South India. And honey cubes is a new product. But it is, technology is not available in CFTRI, but it is available, we already done for with somebody. They have given the money for their particular product. Exclusively they pay the money and we develop a product for them. So similarly, then now you say, I want the honey cube. Yesterday I got that after telling there were honey cube. Many people asking, I also want to buy. Yeah, I said it is not ready for you because it is for somebody. Because we have a particular time, around 2 to 3 years after that, it will be available for the public. So similarly, you also want to have a one particular product from your state, a particular is having not the medicinal value. I want to do this one. I want to have a product having about 6 months life, 4 months shelf life. So those things you can ask and we can develop the product for you and the project one. Another one, regarding incubation. Yes, incubation. Incubation centers should have all the facilities required for development of your products. If you come to the management here, there may be incubation for some other. May not be having for food processing. You want a GC, SPLC, then all the processing equipment you require. But you can't do that in any incubation center. So you have to find out the incubation center where the facilities are available and there your product can be come out. So we have an incubation center. Even we are around 10 to 15 incubators can be accommodated. And then you can come your own idea. This is a secret. We may not be knowing also. You can come to CFTRI and ask that I want incubator. I want one room I want. We are selling this room, giving the rent on the basis of the area. So how much square feet is there, so you stay here and you tell me what are the things you require. I want this analyzer, I want the extractor, I want the extruder. So all your requirement, because this is your idea. I don't know, I don't have, but you are using our facility. And we will fix up that money. Okay, if you are using this one, this much money you have to pay. And your incubator, you can be sponsored by the IIM or somebody from the ministry. The money can be supported. You can come to our incubator, maybe 6 months, 4 months, or 9 months, depending upon that. And you come out with a product and you launch from there. Or you prepare a product in some quantity from our instrument and you can do the market survey. And when the market survey comes, let us respond come here. Now you are happy that you can think of investment. Don't invest at the beginning because food processing is a very risky business. And one sensitive, very sensitive, one mistake you will close down the factory. Maggi noodle, you heard about that one. How many tons of things it is fallen down. It's destroyed because it's small lead, they said. Lead content. These are all political background also. They want lead content is a what? Lead intensely they don't put that. They don't put intentionally lead color. Why should I put that? So lead color is coming from your water you are using groundwater. Because from there it is coming that Maggie is preparing throughout the country. So somewhere they will be using the groundwater, they put in their water. Apart from that, you see, instead of that, oh, the ladies are having more land eating. Okay, just finish. Because all the district you are using is full land. So that's like this. So what I am telling you, one incubation center, we have a specialty. Even when you use website, you go to incubation terms and conditions are given. You read down that one, come to the CFTR Act, and come out, incubate, and come out with the flying colors. Okay, thank you.
One of the important lessons that we have all learned during this pandemic, and the word that everyone is using these days is new normal. And when you say new normal, I think it works to the advantage of the youngsters. And in fact, this is quite aptly captured by Dennis Wedley in his book Empires of the Mind, where he says, what worked yesterday will not work today. Okay, that's what he said in his book. You know, what worked yesterday will not work today. I think post-pandemic, we can add one more to it, and what worked yesterday will not work today, and it certainly will not work tomorrow. That much guarantee is definitely now we can give, because whatever business models, whatever thought process, whatever skeletons were there in pre-COVID era, now I think the world will also start using BC and AD, like pre-COVID and post-COVID terminology. So in post-COVID, I think we don't have to follow any structure that we possibly knew before. We can have our own structure. We can have our own normal. We can have our own barometer. And say, this is how I want to do it. Because gone are the old concepts of business model, let's follow a path, and therefore if we go on the path, there is a certainty of becoming successful entrepreneur. That is no more there. Because yesterday, if hierarchy was important, today creativity is more important. Today nobody follows that hierarchy. Yesterday, if your investors, I mean shareholders, were your primary concern, because you wanted to service your shareholders, you wanted to service your investors, because their interests are primary or paramount. Today customer has become primary. Forget about shareholder. If my customer is happy with me, only then I can satisfy my shareholder. Because customers are otherwise going to go away from me. Because that era is over. So I think things have completely changed. So what worked yesterday is definitely not working today, and it is definitely not going to work tomorrow. So let's create our own model. Our ideas can be further, refined. We can possibly cross-check with institutions, seniors from the industry, but let's not go with the thought process that I have to follow that path. That what possibly Dabur did is the way, and that's the only way to succeed. I think that's not going to happen anymore. There is going to be a completely different business model that is going to emerge. And we are seeing that. And that is the biggest strength, I think, that we will have. And therefore, nothing is today location-centric. You can think of being in the remotest part of the country or the world, but think about the global market. And that is happening. It is not something which otherwise we used to call as a wish list or a bucket list. Today we are all seeing it is practically happening. So let's get over this phobia of I'm young, I don't have experience, I don't know. It is good. If you don't know, then it is good. Because then you will come out with a absolutely new concept and a new idea. I mean, as someone, we always keep saying that did this world needed iPhone? Probably answer is no. But when it came, now everyone wants that. So this is the disruption. So can all of us become disruptive in that sense? That let's not go by the normal practice. Let us have our own model. Why should we follow that model which somebody apparently has used and has succeeded? We can take learnings from them and create our own model. I think that is the message that we all, I mean, at least I am getting post, this pandemic period, that अब उसकी बात ये सुनेंगे, अरे हमने ऐसा किया है, आपने ऐसा किया, अच्छा है, very good, you succeeded, but I have a different route, I have a different approach, and that's how I'm going to do it. So let's do it. And this, as I said, institutions and this ecosystem is only to support. Don't look at anyone and say, okay, I think because they have done piggery extremely well in Mizoram, therefore let me start and replicate this in Arunachal Pradesh. No, you have to see what made them to focus on piggery. What was the process? And through that process, maybe we will find something else in Arunachal Pradesh. I mean, when I was looking at the numbers and then I realized, if we are the second largest producer of marine products in the country, 70% of our fish is actually coming from inland destinations. Only 30% is from the sea. I knew only the other side of the story, that we do not build trawlers in the country, because I am from the shipping background, so I come from that industry. So we were all the time complaining that we don't build trawlers that cannot go in deep sea for deep sea trawling, deep sea fishing. So we only do fishing nearby, and in our exclusive economic zone, which is almost equal the size of our landmass, in that exclusive economic zone, nobody else can come and do fishing because it is our property, it is our resource. In that exclusive economic zone, fish is dying of age because nobody is going there, because we don't have the infrastructure. So I was looking at it from that standpoint, that angle. But when I was looking at the food processing industry, and when I looked at certain segments, and in fishing I got the statistics. So I said, no wonder our fishing is 70% inland and 30% is only seaborne, because we don't have the infrastructure. So I mean the whole, different, I would say, concepts are emerging because we are looking at things from a different angle. So we are more than happy to be part of this whole journey that you want to take. Whatever infrastructure, whatever facility that IIM has will be available for you anytime. And as Sir said, we would like to be in touch with you. Sanjeev is definitely center coordinator, and there will be representatives, research scholars assigned to particular verticals in the center. So they can definitely of help to you. But as I said, ideas and initiative will have to be from your side. And we are happy to be there for whatever support that you are looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, so finally, everything has been said and done, and we have learned a lot in this two-day deliberation. So it's my duty to officially close this session with a small word of thanks. I extend my heartiest thanks to the Honorable Minister, Shri Patel Singh Ji, to kind of steering this entire idea of this deliberation and supporting the entire proceedings in terms of ideas and resources, and also putting his effort and spending a whole day of his busy schedule to assure that this kind of thought process goes very strong. I thank Shri Abdul for mentoring and steering and supporting to make this event a success. Our director sir for his unlimited support. Officers of IIM Shillong, my team from APJ Abdul Kalam Center, faculty, colleagues, officers of IIM Shillong, and nevertheless all the resource persons and delegates have come all across from Northeast, having all this kind of challenges for having with us. Thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and we wish to see you very soon in our campus again with more kind of discussions and outcome-based discussion, I would better say. With this small note, I thank you again and happy journey back to your destination. Okay, so we have a small cup of coffee together, and delegates, resourcemen, we have arranged a small token of certificate. Kindly collect from my office, from our team. Thank you very much. Thank the concerned ministry and supporting staff from the ministry for making this event a great success. Thank you everyone.